Criminals have been trying to escape prisons forever, and while most attempts fail miserably, some actually pull it off. Real-life prison breaks happen way more often than you'd think, and the desire for freedom pushes people to insane lengths. Most get caught instantly, but a few bold, determined escapees manage to do the impossible. Ready to meet the ones who actually made it out? Sometimes you just have to trust your instincts and go for it. No plan, no strategy, no second thoughts. When a chance appears, you grab it before anyone realizes what's happening. 2 inmates were assigned to simple outdoor cleanup duty just beyond the prison's inner fences. One quick look between them, a tiny signal, and they took off running without hesitation. The guard watching them froze for a moment, stunned, before frantically reporting the escape over his radio. Once they were far enough from the commotion, the duo split up, each hoping the other would draw attention away. Their freedom didn't last long. Within days, officers tracked them down in a rural shed and a small apartment nearby. How they managed to get outside with almost no supervision is still a mystery. When your first few attempts fail, sometimes patience is the key. After several unsuccessful tries throughout the day, this inmate decided to wait for the perfect moment, and when it came, he had to act instantly. As officers stepped away to check paperwork, he spotted a tiny gap in the garage door just beginning to close. Without hesitation, he darted through it like a pro, bending low and moving faster than anyone expected. By the time the cops scrambled to react, he had vanished into the distance. He ran so far and so fast that even a 2-hour K-9 search couldn't track him down. His freedom ended the next day when authorities caught him, proving that sometimes even the fastest get caught in the end. If it seems too easy, it probably is. A group of inmates was being led through the parking area back to their cells. One of them hangs back, slipping out of sight behind a transport truck while the guards move on, completely unaware he's missing. All he has to do is reach the keys left in the ignition and turn them. It's almost as if luck itself is pushing him toward freedom. He jumps into the truck, hits the gas, and smashes through the gate. Free at last, or so he thinks. Moments later, he crashes into a fence nearby and is quickly apprehended. It turns out that stealing your way out of jail doesn't exactly lead to a smooth getaway. When you're not exactly a criminal genius, you have to use what you've got. Being charming can go a long way, especially if the guard standing between you and freedom happens to be distracted. These inmates didn't rush. They casually opened the gate and strolled out like they owned the place. This wasn't an accident. The guard was completely in on it, guiding them through every step like it was a planned operation. 5 days later, the inmates and the guard who helped them are all caught after a tense standoff with police. Lesson learned: even with the guard on the inside, crime still catches up. A judge has found Gerald Hyde guilty of methamphetamine possession. With the arraignment over, he's supposed to go back to jail. But he has other plans. The defendant slips away from security and re-enters the courtroom. He strips off his prison shirt to hide his handcuffs, then makes a run for it. Along the way, he ditches his bright orange prison shoes and moves barefoot through the courthouse. Calm and unnoticed, he reaches the lobby and exits straight onto the street. But freedom is short-lived. Within 2 hours, police catch him hiding in a friend's house, and he's immediately taken back into custody. Even the luckiest thieves can get an easy break sometimes. After being arrested for shoplifting, this woman was placed in a small holding cell at the local police station. She was left alone for a moment while officers handled paperwork. She fiddles with the handcuffs securing her wrists, glancing at her phone to text a friend for bail money. Even though the cuffs were reportedly tight, she managed to slip her hands free. Spotting a set of keys hanging on the wall, she grabs them and quietly unlocks a side door. She slips out without a sound, moving past the unsuspecting officers. But her freedom doesn't last long. Less than an hour later, she's spotted at the same hotel where she was busted that same morning, instantly recognized by the staff who work there. She's taken back into custody, proving once again there's no cure for foolishness. We're at the Lewis County Courthouse in Chehalis, Washington, in the courtroom of Judge R.W. Buzzard, who's just finished some business with the 4 defendants. To the right is Tanner Jacobson. Next to him is Cody Howard. Neither of them feel like sticking around. Suddenly, the 2 prisoners make a run for it. Judge Buzzard springs into action, and it's on. Keep in mind, the escapees are in handcuffs and prison-issue sandals. A witness points the judge in the right direction, as does a bright orange clue, one of the sandals left behind. They've made it to the 3rd floor stairwell and now down to the 2nd, just 1 floor away from freedom. But Judge Buzzard is gaining ground, especially on the one who lost his sandal. The judge tackles the lagging defendant just outside the exit to the building. 2 deputies catch up moments later and bring him back to a cell. The other defendant is picked up just a few blocks away. Both are back in custody, ending a chaotic but brief escape. Denmark is famous for Vikings and Lego bricks, But mass prison escapes? Not so much. 25 years ago, a TV film crew received an anonymous tip about a protest outside a prison in Copenhagen and went there to document the event. What happened next was shocking. A bulldozer slammed into the brick wall of the jail, knocking it down, while prisoners poured out of the hole like ants fleeing their nest. They could be seen running down the street, laughing and cheering, celebrating their newfound freedom. The film crew were arrested on suspicion of having prior knowledge of the escape and failing to notify police. In total, 13 inmates escaped, some serving lengthy sentences for violent crimes and murder, and only 3 were ever caught. They say courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Arrested at school for fighting, this teenager was left alone in an interrogation room for just a few seconds before he threw caution to the wind and fearlessly jumped out of a second-story window, a full 16 feet off the ground. He may have rubber bones because he got straight back up after surviving the fall and ran as fast as his legs could carry him. The officer came to check on him minutes later, and you can clearly hear him muttering a few choice words when he realizes what has happened. The boy was found 3 hours later at his friend's house. We can safely say that when he turns 21, the only bars he will be attending will be made of iron. The 5'8", 150-pound inmate braced himself against a narrow section of the exercise yard before shimmying up the wall and dropping to the ground on the other side. Rivera then made his way through several layers of fencing topped with razor wire, slipping past security to make his escape from Essex County Prison.
To the roof and dropping down on the other side. Cavalcante then pushed through multiple layers of razor wire to escape the Chester County Prison.
Well, we believe the security measures we had in place.
These 2 inmates carefully removed a few cinder blocks and squeezed through the openings before throwing a blanket over a 25-foot-high razor wire fence and disappearing into the surrounding woods. The holes in the wall were cleverly hidden by posters, and they even fashioned dummies out of pillows and blankets in their beds to buy themselves extra time. After all that planning, they were eventually caught when a local resident noticed footprints in the mud near a nearby creek and alerted the authorities. If you're thinking about breaking out of jail, it might be wise not to follow in the footsteps of these crafty but unlucky criminals. That's all for today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.